she was a dedicated person. She realized that black children needed an education. She lived in Washington, D.C., 215 Florida Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C. That was off of 7th Street, which was a black neighborhood, so forth. Ms. Archer had a big black Buick, one of them big old Buicks. I don't know what model it was. But she came out here. She picked up black students from down in, they call it East Woodford, but it's down off of Dunlorry, black students. The girls would sit in off of Park Street, because one of our friends, Wendell Carter's wife, I don't know, did you know Cora? No. Did you know Cora? Cora was a Harris. She lived there. McCoy's one of the girls there on that picture. On there. She picked them up. And the boys, she would raise the trunk up and sit the boys in the back in the trunk. And she drove to the school right up here with these children every day. Wow. She also, if you were good and would behave yourself, she would take you home with her and let you spend the night. So, because you're out here in Vienna, you don't know what the city is like, all the lights. I remember I've gone home with her many times. She would take at least 3 or 4 girls. She would open up her sofa and she would make up a bed for you to sleep on. Or you might end up a mattress and you sleep on the floor in the living room. She would get dinner prepared. Okay, girls, y'all come on, this is done. She had it prepared, you know. We heat up the food, wash the dishes. We had to hurry up and get out of there because she was going to take us around the corner to the theater. Was it Dunbar Theater? I think it's
Dunbar and Langston.
Yeah, Dunbar Theater. So you could see a movie. And you could get your picture taken because there was a photo place next door. So I got many little pictures of little braid and bows, and that's what, get your picture taken so you can take it back home and give it to your mom and daddy. And she did that with several students all through the school, all during the school year. She was, as I said, she was unusual. She was a person that was determined to get a large school for the black students in Vienna. Mr. Whitson was the superintendent of schools of Fairfax County. Mr. Shands was the maintenance man or whatever he was. He'd come out and check, see the board, or whatever he was. Check, see if this was working or whatever. But she would get on the phone because the telephone, she had a little closet. And the telephone was in the closet, up on the shelf. And so there's the 5th, 6th, and 7th grades in that one room. But she had sort of a heavy voice. And she'd get in that closet and partially close the door because she's watching the students and talking on the phone to Mr. Whitson. And she said, all right, Mr. Whitson, I want so and so and so done because I want a new school and I want this. And all the stove is not working and all of this. And she would have, I know my parents and many parents around near the school would cook the soup and whatever to serve the children for their lunch. That's how she was just determined. She would get the meat, the food and whatever from the county. And the parents, I know my mother did, and Mrs. Lee, Mrs. White, Ms. Hawkins, many people that lived near the school at the time would make the soup, or either if she did it, she would keep it warm because she had the big old pot-belly stove, and she set that big pot on top of this big black stove that was supposed to keep you warm in that room. Of course, she died. I graduated in 1946. Ms. Archer died in 1947, right after I graduated. And it wasn't too soon after that.
She died in 48.
7 or 48?
48.
48, okay. And then they built a new school. But I do remember that about her. She was from Livingston, South Carolina.
North Carolina.
No, South Carolina. Where was North Carolina? Well, her husband's name was Romulus, Romulus Archer. He was an architect. They had no children. So we were their children. and he accepted the children as they came in. He would have his office downstairs, he would come upstairs and greet us all, treat us nicely. Of course, she passed. Mr. Archer died, not, I maybe say 5 or 10 years ago.